position, regardless of our sides. It is because of Liberia, and we see Liberia as a bigger picture about everything. As the famous saying that not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. It is on those bases that we establish a conversation this morning. To say good morning, and welcome. Thanks so kindly for joining us. We hope that we have a wonderful conversation on this
It's a very
uh,
very wet.
wet Tuesday morning.
Mhm.
But howbeit, we beat the challenges. And this morning, we are here to bring you the People's Program. So I'm honored.
How is the pastor doing? For long, man.
I, I, I always take exception when you say
My man, pastor,
my pastor because characterization with
oh,
people that have done negative things always have a way of affecting you. Perhaps there will be some days that people want to reference this this conversation and say, but the main part of the corrupt church. We get a recording here. So I take an exception to that. Reverend Nimlin has never been my pastor. I've never had a time to sit under his gospel, unless in the case where during the campaign, during the campaign activities, usually used to pray for George. We are part of the reason that George didn't win the election as well, because if you have people that are not ordained by the Spirit.
mm.
And you having such a man to prophesy that you're going to win elections. Obviously, it is the devil working for you. So all of these things affected George.
So the devil were working in favor of George. We are right on his feet,
No,
and he never
was
knew.
was working against
Against,
because,
brother.
yeah, was working against George Weah. I pretending to be that person that loves him a lot, but now it was working to destroy him. So
Mm.
imagine if we have over 300 persons, over 200 persons have been duped. Take for instance, George Weah won with Joseph Boakai won election with 20,000 votes.
Yeah.
So if you have over 200,000 persons that were duped, each of the person has a direct, at least 5 person connected to them
Mhm.
that they will share that story with. Part of the reasons why they became frustrated in the leadership of George Weah then. Not necessarily that George Weah was a part of it, though, but because this man is an associate of George Weah. Part of the reasons why I said, don't associate me with that man as well. So in that case, you have those persons, each of them will have at least a reason to convince 5 persons that this is how the government has presented itself to be. That they are stealing from us, they are corrupting us, and so there's a need to keep them up. So if you have 200 persons times 5, that number is significant. So just imagine how it affected George Weah significantly. And that's what I don't want to be associated with that. But again, we're hoping to see as the CDC is planning their setback to come back retreat on the 28th for the 29th at their party headquarters. We hope to see Reverend Nimle opening the prayers section there. Perhaps you
For us in Islam, once you are an imam, we definitely sees you as imam for all. That's what I'm saying, your pastor, because for me, what I'm thinking is that once you are a pastor for a church, it means that you stand as a pastor for all. But what I observe in a Christian religion, you guys have the Methodists, the Catholic, the a lot of other institutions. So I don't know if you are a pastor for the Methodist Church, can you still serve or can you still be called a pastor for the Episcopal Church?
I want to say yes. If you are a pastor for the Pentecost, for instance, there are times the good thing about it is that we coexist. That regardless of you being a Methodist, you can be invited to services, you can preach at a Pentecostal church. I mean, if there are activities that call for that. So what it does is that Abuaka is just the form of worship. It's not necessarily that they are different set of Christians or not. It's just a form of worship. I mean, because for us of the Christian faith, they said God has been worshipped in different forms and fashions. So you can be sleeping and worshiping God, you can be standing up and worshiping God, you can be lying down and worshiping God, you can be, different way you choose. I'm saying the way you choose to worship Him. So it is on that basis that form the different forms of Christianity. It's not that I know the Methodists are different set of Christians. The good thing about all of us course, you want to move to the Methodists, the Pentecost, I'm saying the Pentecost, the Episcopals, you want to move on to the Catholics. All of us, we use the one Bible. That's the Holy Bible. That's what I know of. Anyone on the contrary is not a Christian. But a Christian, I mean, the ultimate God of Christianity is the Bible.
Okay.
So that you have, whether you are Methodist, it's just the form of worship. Maybe you want to care yourself in isolation. Maybe you want to care yourself, in the form of praises like the Pentecost will do. Maybe you want to care yourself, in form of hymns, singing praises like the Methodists will do. You want to go as, like an evangelist, like the the Jehovah's Witness, the Latter-day Saints will want to do. So it's just the form of worship, that satisfied the different ways I've been called, but we are grounded to the Christianity, to the Christian doctrine. So, like once you are a pastor, you be ordained by the voice. I mean, you be respected across. Whether you are a Methodist pastor, you are a Methodist bishop, you are a Methodist reverend, or whatever. But once you be ordained, you go out of Pentecostal church or Pentecostal member sees you, that person also respects you. Now, where the person taking an objection is that if you carry the same spirit as with Reverend Nimley, you carry the same spirit, like you are called a pastor or a reverend, but your deeds and in what we're involved with does not represent the gospel, then we'll take an exception. That's why when you say a pastor, I said, no, it's not my pastor. Because what I do know of my pastor is that pastors should be people that lived by the word of God. And the word of God strongly prohibits and kicks against, you duping people, using people of their sweats, and taking it for your own selfish gains. So at that level, you cannot be my pastor. That's what I said. I take objection. But if that is the case, we say across all of them, whether you are Methodist, you are a Pentecostal person, you are, you from the Baptist denomination. For me, as a person, welcome to every one of you.
I just dropped a story there in the group chat. I want you but before we come to that, I just want you to go through it. The CDC, the Coalition for Democratic Change. I don't know if it is still remaining the Coalition for Democratic Change, because the MPP is walking away, or they have walked away already. The LPDP is also leaving. I know there are sort of few handful of political parties that are still attached to the CDC, but there's this new filtering around the air. I have seen it on social media, that there's a planned program for the CDC, which is said to be, I don't know, retreat to come back or something like that. I'm trying to get, I don't know, what kind of retreat, something, so kind of retreat they're supposed to have.
Yeah, it should be the setback to come back.
Okay, retreat. Setback to come back. Yes,
transforming setbacks into a great comeback. That's the thing. Transforming setbacks into a great comeback.
Wow, that's strong. Harris, transforming setback into a great comeback. Can the CDC come back that easily after losing to the Unity Party in just in the first round? CDC won, right? CDC won the first round, and then after that, the second round, Unity Party came and won. Not landslide, but just I can say close to 15,000 persons voted against President Weah, and the CDC-led administration was kicked out. And right after that, within few months' time, some of the party hierarchies, in person of Mr. Moba Molu, one of the boom behind the CDC, and a lot of other people, what they call it, Edwin Mervyn Snow, and other folks walk out of the CDC. And today, the CDC is planning a great comeback to make, I don't know, setback. I need to look at that thing very well.
Transforming
setback to comeback.
Into a great comeback.
Into a great comeback. That should be another discussion this morning, because Harris, the CDC, the Coalition for Democratic Change, they are undergoing huge burden right now. What am I saying? The last time I wrote on my Facebook page, there's something before the CDC can make a great comeback, there are a few things that they need to know. Number one, since former President George Weah took over Harris, there have been this issue about the social media and the CDC, Unity Party, social media, and propaganda arm. I wrote on my page, and I was clear. One thing you can't take away from the folks within the Unity Party is the issue about propaganda, most especially social media propaganda. When the CDC was in power, the folks in Unity Party used the social media to make every positive things that happen on the weekend look bad. I'm saying this again. They use the social media, they engage radio stations, make everything look that was good, that was positive under the Weah's administration look bad in the eyes of the citizens. Now, is the CDC going towards regaining the strength within the social media landscape of our politics? I'm not seeing it around. Up to now, the Unity Party still control the airwaves. Up to now, the Unity Party still control the social media. I bet you, bro, go and just post something negative about the president and just stay there and relax. See the comments that will come on the social media. I mean, on your post. What am I saying? Because the guys are still playing on the minds of Liberians politically. The guys within the Unity Party, they have taken over the social media, and before CDC can make a great comeback, that's one of the aspects that they will have to fight over. They have to fight to get the social media landscape before start engaging radio stations. I can tell anybody, every media institution have their own listening audience. So if, for instance, you are within the CDC, and then I read to you a message. I said, you are invited to my political talk show from 8 to 9 in the morning, so and so time. You say, your former boss, Mr. Patrick Honor, that his station there, I can't come to the station. My brother, if you are given an opportunity to make an appearance, most especially when you are in opposition, if you are given an opportunity to make an appearance on any radio station, go there and make your case. I'm saying this for a fact. Because it's left up to you now to go and persuade the minds of the listening audience. If you think that they have just one listening audience, go there and make that change. Make the people know that, you are there to send out your message. But sometimes, man, we send some poor messages. We say, man, I want for you to appear on my show. The next thing we say, my man, I can't go to that radio station now. My man, I will come. Then later on, they can't come. And you say you're in opposition, and you say you want to win election come 2029. But man, you hurting your heel. You have to fight to get the common things, the small things. You have to settle them before going to the larger ones. I don't know how you look at that.
Well, Walker, your analysis is they place this morning, and that's why we look at the conversation from two sides. Like you rightly placed it. I think a greater responsibility of the CDC, reclaiming her space in the political dispensation of our country is grounded on the kind of media relations that the world have. Whether it is print, whether it's electronic, whether it's the traditional media, I think the setback to come back with truth should not be about how can we design our approach to politics. I'm gonna say to protest. How can we, be very robust? The last time I checked, for instance, in Uganda, Bobby Wine.
Yeah.
The last time I checked in South Africa, Nelson Mandela. You want to go out, in Ghana, in different countries around the world. Their lead opposition or opposition party or parties are those ones that are most often interpreting what the people sufferings are.
Sure.
And it has been done not in a violent mood, not in disgruntled forms and factions, but it's been done, by using the media.
Yeah.
The media serves as a platform that people express themselves about what is affecting them and how well those in authority can make the change. Bwaka, you spoke of the Unity Party in opposition as compared to the CDC. See, I will take a back a bit when I listen to people says that I'm just saying that the Unity Party, understands propaganda. You see, my objection to that is that the Unity, if we say the Unity Party understands propaganda at the time they were in opposition, then I'll buy into your argument. Because if the Unity Party understands propaganda, living in an open conversation, whether in opposition, whether in ruling establishment, then I don't see that since the Unity Party took over the last 6 months. Since the Unity Party took over the last 6 months, the issue about information has been a serious problem for the Unity Party. Communication strategies. The last time I checked, the foreign minister had to openly admit it to the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism. She says that there is a need that government revisit our communication strategy. Why you think that Sarah Beslow Nyanti at the time had to inform the government that there is a need to revisit our communication strategies? Because a lot has been lacking since the Unity Party took over in terms of communication, ranging from the Ministry of Information, going to the Presidential Press Secretary, drawing down to different government ministries and agencies. So at that level, I don't want to believe that Unity Party knows propaganda anymore. The Unity Party that knew the propaganda was the Unity Party that tailored herself during campaigns. So what it presents is that we have a country that it is easy that someone sits at their house and design something negatively so as to bring the next life, then to sit down and interpret the good things that they're able to do for themselves. This is what the Unity Party continues to demonstrate even to the point that we speak. For instance, I'll give you a practical example. Over the weekend, the president met with the two branches of government heads, that is from the legislature and that of the judiciary. That is, Siane Young was there, Onyobli Kanga Lawrence, and that of Fonati Kofa. The president requested for a dinner with them. And the purpose of that dinner over the weekend, was because if you look to Siane Young alarmed that the judiciary is stranded, that there is no budgetary allotment to, the budget to the judiciary, or there is no money at all. Let's place it that way. The speaker has been crying over the years, almost for the past few weeks, that he will now have no other alternative but rather to shut down the operations of the House of Representatives because no money. So the president called them to a table and said, can they talk the thing? The thing is just say no money, let the executive now will give money. It's not that the executive don't want to give you money to perform your function. It is that there's no money, that the government is trying as much as possible to raise revenue so that we will be able to effectively contribute to the three branches of government. So this is not the executive thing that you will sit as the speaker or as a pro tem or as the chief justice to believe in your mind that I as a president that I'm holding the money and don't want to give it to you. So the president met with them at that dinner. Bwakai afterwards that all of the propagandas, the different media outlets published a story that the speaker threatened to shut down the house because of no funding, that the Ministry of Finance refused to provide allotments to the House of Representatives. That's the story that the media carried. Since that gathering, over the weekends, since that gathering, what has been said about that? How well that the president, because that's leadership, that Bwakai, you have a need. We can't take it from you, that you need this. We can't take it from you. But it also is not there to give it to you. So we call you, say, Bwakai, we know that this should be for you. But right now, as we speak, it is not there. So we want you to bear with us. Once it's been made available, we will give it to you. Then Bwakai accepts. So all those that say, oh, Harris gets something for Bwakai, he won't give it. How well can we come by and say, oh, Bwakai has accepted that? The challenge here is that what we have for me is not available at the moment. So he accepts to work with us until we get and give it to him. That's the information. Since Saturday up to present, since Friday, Saturday up to present, not a word has been said about that. Then it demonstrates to you the propaganda you spoke of. How is it that the Unity Party is able to tell information?
My point here
is that's what I'm saying. That my objection to this is that we should be definite that the Unity Party knows propaganda when she's in opposition. I want to buy into that. But we say the Unity Party knows propaganda altogether. Bwakai, I'm not saying it. Now, to the aspect you spoke of, that if you just take your Facebook page, the social media, and say something negative about the government, about the president, you see a lot of reactions. Liberians will be beating on you on the social media. It's truth. You know why? It is always the case. If you want to record during George Weah, when George Weah took over in 2018, the propaganda first initiated by the Unity Party was George Weah was uneducated. Now George Weah is that low-key president. Even to that point, Liberians are saying on the social media that we let our president, we want a native president, we want a president and not no book. That was the conversation, because you know why? At this level, it is the initial state. We cannot use 6 months to determine that one of Liberians are satisfied, one of the negative things about the government. Not. No. Because at that level, it is the Liberian people that voted the president. It is with the Liberian people's support that the government will survive. So at that level, the citizens will give you the benefit of the doubt. So, Mr. President, operate. We will protect you. We will guide you. That even if they say negative things about you, we will protect you. So at that pace, you understand that everything has been said, whether right or wrong, whether it is good or not, the Liberians will not want to listen. So we will set the conversation that way. But you know what's going to happen? At the climax,
I want you feel because I will come in.
at the climax of the first year of the president, and the expectation of the people towards certain things that the president has promised that he would have done upon completion of the first term, or perhaps the president's State of the Nation's address that he delivered sometimes in January, when he informed Liberians that his government has set priorities to cover the year in review. At the end of that, the Liberians themselves will join the oppositions as well. Those have been criticizing the government to say, but the president said that this thing was done the first year. What is it that he's not doing it? At that level, whatever thing you will bring up, they will be welcomed. Have you asked yourself, like in 2019, when Henry Constant and others brought forth the issue about the retired suffering, when the conversation brought, that's not retired suffering, but and the conversation surrounding the June protest initiated.
Step down campaign.
We are step down campaign sometimes in 2019. But because it was at the point that the opposition has sufficient evidence to come up with. At the time that we had the situation of the 16 billion, we had the situation of George Weah building condominiums for himself. George Weah had destroyed, demolished his now street resident was building mansions for himself. When George Weah over 6 months, over 8 months, 11 months, George Weah refused to publish his access. All this information compact. At that level, now you have the appearance having a reason to stand against the government that they supported. So until we reach that point under the Joe Baka's administration, trust me, you read about the government and no one wants to listen to you. Because everyone thinks that it will stay in the political era. We stay in the campaign period. So even if you want to counter, you want to say this, will say, oh, my man, we are moving forever, we're not doing it. But when we complete the first year of the administration, entering the second year, and the expectations of the people towards certain things are not met, at that level, Buckeye, even if you say or think, the people will welcome you towards it.
My brother, let me tell you this. I listened to it keenly, and we are talking two different things. There's something we propaganda is different from information. So there are two different things. The issue about the Unity Party and the CDC, I can tell you for free. Go up and come down. If it was the former president George Manuel Weah that made a promise that in 100 days that no car will get stuck in Liberia or in a mud, and after that 100 days, whether it was fulfilled or car are being stuck down in mud, you are going to see the social media being flooded with photos from various roads that are deployed. But now, even if the seditions go and take a photo of a road and post it on social media, the next thing you will see people saying is that when you guys were in power, you have borrowed medicine in Weah. Why are they? Your spaces here, there, your faces. There are some that spend, but the person have promised 100 days that no car will get stuck, but car are being stuck. Or car ain't being stuck, but the mud certain part of the place, certain roads to plow there is not easy. The CDC will have to double up when it comes to propaganda because they are now in opposition. Like the United Party when in opposition, they build up that propaganda team to make everything look bad in the eyes of Liberians. That was under the watch of Mr. Weir. So now, how can the CDC get to where the United Party was? How can the CDC take back that strength that the United Party had when it comes to propaganda? How can they? Do they have the communicators? These are the questions that we should be asking. Do they have the communicators to communicate the messages to the bad messages that are happening? The bad, there have been a lot of missteps under the Brockers administration, and we get. Are the Liberian people feeling it? Are the Liberian people seeing it?
I think, Brocker, you continue to buy what I'm saying because I listen to someone say propaganda is different for information. That's lie. Information is propaganda. Propaganda is information by itself. So how can propaganda be different for information? I don't get it because propaganda. I come in. Propaganda is a medium. It is an information that you provide. But that information will be done on the basis of bias, right? To bias sentiments. So you cannot say propaganda is different from information. That's wrong. Propaganda in itself is information dissemination.
Okay.
So it is dependent on the nature of that information or the primary goal, right, of that information is to perhaps to be biased, right, or to provide misleading information so as a win to give favor. That's how you do propaganda, but you cannot say propaganda is not information. Then you will be off the hook. Now, here is it. In terms of what you just mentioned, like I said, CDC has what it takes to provide to counter this government in terms of providing propaganda and everything. Listen, but there are even propaganda. There are timeliness, the timing of everything. In propaganda, those are the popular relations. Even those are the popular relations will tell you that there is a timing for information, and if you fail on that timing, it becomes all wrong. That even if you say the good things will look bad, the good things you say in the interest of the people will look bad because you not observe your timing. How is it that a government within less than 6 months? You want to go about criticizing a government within less than 6 months? There are things that are yet to be done over 5, over 6, over 7 decades in this country that you expect to be done in less than 5 to 6 months. It is entirely impossible. A country like Liberia without any foundational structure, ranging from our judiciary system, there's no foundational structure, to our legislature, to our executive branch of government, and across all government ministries and agencies, there's no foundational structure. Every time a new government is French. How is it that you criticize such a government within less than 6 months? Why even the reasonable amount you say the Babajia take over again chance? So at that level, the kind of propaganda you want to initiate, we're not you any fruit. So that's why the CDC, in its mind, in its wisdom, said that let's go to have a setback to come back retreat. Overcome setback retreat. So now at this retreat, we're going to say, okay, fine. You know why? Let's have a catalog. Let's have our medicines. Let's have our guys on the field that will be cataloging and jotting down all of the missteps of the government. That all come upon the completion of the first term of the first year under the Brockers administration. We take the national budget and place it as tool. Understand the national budget, looking at the set priorities, looking at where the government says you have invested more in terms of addressing the problems. Go and bring the president, the president's State of the Nation's address. Because the last time I checked, the State of the Nation's address or the SONA, it is that information that we use to grade a government in a 1-year regime, because it is what the government presents to the legislature as its working plan for the year under review. So we bring the president, the president's SONA, then we bring the budget the budget that is being used to support the president message to the legislature that things he said you will do for the country. Then we understand the state of the economy. Then at that level, when you go in Boni to go speak, you remind the people of Boni, say the president said upon the completion of upon the first year of his administration, he will make sure that schools will be built in so area. Let's look at the budget. Okay, money was allotted for school for so area in Boni. Where is the school? The last time we checked, there's no school built in this place. Like that, you have a communication to present to the people. Like that, you have sufficient of evidence. You have the information. So even if you can use one instance, enough reason, right? You want to counter the government now. Now you use your propaganda. What that has been done. At this level, you
So what you are saying is that they should wait for a year to end.
That's why the citizens going for a retreat. That's why the citizens going for a retreat.
So you think there'll be fruitful discussion coming from that retreat?
Brother,
do you think there'll be something fruitful coming from that retreat? Because what I observe about the CDC is that they are noted for militancy. Propagating message have been one of their major problems. Making it right to be a wrong, that have been major problem to them. What they do believe in is militancy. They feel that once they say this, it should happen. Once they say, but now, like people, our minds are not on the issue about militancy. It's about how better you can send out a message to them, how you can sell yourself to them. It's what non-librarians are going for. So this issue about going having continuous press conferences, calling on Liberians. Today when the president not do the one, we'll do the one. No, my brother. The thing is about the A, B, and C. Tell Mr. X that this A, it shouldn't be on the computer. It should be on the table. Why is it not on the table? Because the reason that it's not on the table is because of X, Y, and Z reason. So for you Liberians, fellow Liberians, this is what the government said. They were going to do this. But they are failed. Remember, you say in your position, you want to wait for somebody to make 1 year before you start flagging out some of the things there.
Opposition doesn't mean that you are negative in your thoughts.
No, I know that.
Our opposition is being critical about things that should be done, and things that are done that are good in the people is being welcomed. Last time, one of the good postures of the CDC ever I have witnessed in the opposition level was the CDC to welcome the establishment of the Office of the World Economic Crimes Court. It demonstrates how transformed the CDC has been over the years. Listen, if you want to talk about the CDC, you cannot rule out the fact that the CDC is a political institution. You may hate them or not, that in the next 10, 15 years of our body politics, the CDC will never run out of individuals that are able to challenge the discourse. But I have had a time to witness people that are prepared to give their all in defense of the CDC. If you look across other political institutions, the ANC doesn't have those people. The Liberty Party doesn't have those people. The Simon Freeman Movement for Economic Empowerment does not have those people. The CDC has demonstrated it's one of the few political institutions in this country that have individuals that are willing to give their all, even if it is the last breath, to ensure that the party survive. So at that level, you cannot underestimate that what the CDC has meant, what the CDC is able to interpret the messages of the people. Listen, one good advantage the CDC has that the United Party, even in a state of leadership, cannot take away, is that the CDC is a grassroots movement. The last time grassroots movement, they have a perfect connection with the people, the masses, those ones that are down the line in slums and ghettos. But if you go out there in Sony Way, for instance, you go in Newtown, you go in West Point, you go in a different community in Clower Town. You go in the different slum communities. If you were to do a better scale in terms of the United Party and that of the CDC, you get to understand that the city has a foundational establishment in these various slums and ghettos. That's why the United Party is very careful. And then it's also to a point that the United Party is careful in all of its doing, even at the time is at the echelon of leadership. The United Party is careful in terms of its proceedings because she understands that a political movement, as with the CDC, that have its foundational establishment from the slums and ghettos, from rural parts of Liberia, they need to be very careful. What will guarantee the United Party existence? Even after President Braka's administration, the next time that the United Party will have a face is depending on what the United Party will do under the 6 years of President Braka. Now, come to think of it, a practical example is Paul Kagame, for instance, in Rwanda. You want to understand that who told you that there are now oppositions in Rwanda? The last time I checked, they have vocalists, they have people that understand the issue that facing Rwandans. Who tell you that in Rwanda there is no challenge or challenges? Tell you that what you see everything on the internet about Rwanda is good, but because there are bad ones, but the government have managed to deal with the positive or more than the bad ones. So at that level, even if you have an opposition that coming to counter the criticize the government, the citizens themselves will see reason to say no. That even though we understand that we don't have him in the town, but we look around at all good things the government have done. It provides a conversation that good things will continue to happen. The last election in 2016, Paul Kagame won over 98% of the votes. But even at that point, who told you that there are no opposition in Rwanda? So what am I saying is that similar thing can be replicated in Liberia, but it can be done on the basis Wakai if we have a conversation that the government sees itself now as at that him of power. So what to do is that we have a fixed agenda. Let's not be distracted. Wakai, the CDC has what it takes to distract the operations of this government. You cannot take away that. If you want to argue, let's have a reflection. Let's have a reflection. Prior to the CDC coming to be, how do you think that the CDC won 2017 elections? Was it on the basis that President Wakai now wanted to be president? No. But because the CDC was in opposition, and at that time she understood her strategies and everything what she would do, and the energy the CDC exerted to engage the Liberian people was what that brought George Weah to power in 2017. So then how can we say that the CDC don't have a strategy in terms of propaganda? No. But what I would say is that when the CDC entered government, she felt that it was all what it takes to be in government, and you have no explanation to provide to the people. At that level, you know the party capitalized on that. And what I'm saying this morning is that it is careful that the United Party should not trend on the same path of the CDC. Because if you feel that you are dealership, like why you say, oh, Mame already power, and the people talk. And it was that like brain mentality. I already in leadership, letting that says here. You like it, you not like it, or that says here, right? And that was a song that will be signed. So at that level, you provide an environment that the opposition will slink in, and win their chances. But if you have a government that says we empower, it means that no stop, we all hang on deck, we're rolling our sleeves, we tightening our boots, we're on the field, we will ensure that the right thing is, the right things are done for the citizen. At that level, it is very hard for opposition to penetrate.
My man, whether you like it or not, the propaganda arm of CDC is weak.
It's not weak.
It is weak. It took the United Party a few months, I can say 10 months.
It took the United Party over a year to design a strategy.
And even from January 2018, to June 7, 2019.
It's over a year. It's over a year.
June 7, 2019.
That's
so
years, I'm saying that's about 1 year, 5 months.
Okay, so but before then, before the June 7 protest, before the June 7 protest, the folks in United Party were not just sitting down and their hand was folded a days. No, they were not just sitting down and watching the CDC play along. What are they were saying? What are you like it? You know, like it that says here or 2 year. They're not just sitting down and allowing things happen. They engaged the government. They propagated messages. They reached out to people. They reached out to various media institutions. They were calling on talk shows. They were making sure that, this is what Mr. Weah is doing. And after anywhere that Mr. Weah go and have a press conference, every day that Mr. Weah will have a program that he just make a statement, you will see them taking messages from there and spraying it to the Liberian people. That's how the United Party was doing. That's what the United Party was doing. But are the citizens doing that now? I said no. What am I saying no? Because they are focused too much on meditation. I'm not actually. I'm not taking away the grassroots membership of the CDC. No, we know them. They are built up on the grassroots political party. But now, my brother, with the current position that the CDC in, there are few things that they need to do. Number one, propaganda have to be strong. That's the first thing they need to do. I'm not excluding reaching out to their members, their grassroots. I'm not excluding it. But number one now, the propaganda arm of the CDC, they need to be doubled up. They reawakening the membership of the CDC. They have to be tightened and reaching out more to people to change their mind is another thing that they need to do.
I want to take a different approach towards this book. And thankfully that we're having this conversation. It's very interesting this morning. You see, the CDC in terms of reawakening its membership, I don't know from where you speak, but citizens, I mean, say, citizens are not deterred. I mean, Walker, I've had, I mean, a living experience of this thing. For some of us that also at times will use commercial vehicles, it is glaring, Walker, even to this point. Citizens are yet to accept the fact that President Walker is president. So then how can we determine that the people need a reawakening membership? No, listen. The case with Sate of the Unity Party, it took a non-partisan movement, as with the Council of Petra, to initiate a campaign against the George Weah government before the Unity Party bought into it. It was never the Unity Party that brought any propaganda that succeeded against George Weah as of June 7. It was a non-partisan movement, the Council of Petra, that took upon the challenge, that stood the test of time and said, we kick against Mr. Weah. Even to that point, we had the United Party folks. The argument, therefore, for after George Weah won elections in 2018, when George Weah was sworn in as president of Liberia, the conversation was George Weah was uneducated. George Weah wouldn't have represented Liberia. George Weah was never the president to represent Liberia. Was the debate of the United Party. Why to that point, Liberians were saying, what are the men are uneducated male, the men are uneducated male? We want him. He's our president. Because why? At the initial stage, Liberians are people that provide a platform for you to demonstrate yourself. They provide a platform for you to show yourself. Until you prove yourself to Liberians, they're still confident in you. Who have thought that George Weah would have lost 2023 elections? Evidence by what George Weah, the number of votes George Weah won in 2017 with. It is a demonstration that Liberians provided George Weah the platform. So at that level, you had the folks on the CDC will say, listen, the man is not educated. He lacks what it takes to be a president for this country. Like that, the man will not represent well at the United Nations General Assembly. The man will not represent, for international gatherings. And a whole lot of things were said about George Weah. On top of what it was at the time that George Weah was building his condominiums. There was a conversation surrounding that. There was a hold and pull, crackdown. That George Weah, in fact, George Weah just took over less than 6 months. He's building mansions himself. Even to that point, the conversation was still being entertained by Liberians. They listened, but had no approach towards that. It was the Council of Petra Heron Costa that took upon the challenge. It was at that level that United Party started to buy into the argument. That other like-minded political institutions started to join and buy into the argument. So what am I saying is that the CDC problem for me, what I've identified, it's not about propaganda. It's about firstly identifying what you're going to propagate. Until you identify your own propaganda, you get no message.
Okay, so listen now. Do you know that in 8 months' time, under the Weah administration, there was a protest in Liberia? In 8 months' time, do you know that?
What would the outcome of the protest?
The outcome was that the people were sending the message. And do you know that
how does a protest? I mean, how would
it affected it affected the image of the
what's
government.
The name of the protest?
Was the bring back our millions. That was the 16 billion that
who initiated that protest? Was it the United Party?
The opposition.
Was it the United Party that initiated that protest?
You wanted them to kind of say,
it was again a group of black-minded.
You wanted them to kind of say, oh, that United Party.
As of the case of the CDC, the way you say it. As of the case of the CDC,
it's two different things here.
Two different things. For every political party to engage the political sphere, there must be a reason to do so. So there haven't been any reason now. Until that reason, the CDC need to identify what she wants to propagate. The CDC problem right now is not about propagating. It's not about propaganda. It's about identifying what you want to propagate. Okay, so let's provide a platform now. You bring one sedition here to come and counter the government to provide propaganda. Then the minister say, oh, President Barker, failed to live up to the code of conduct as per his argument. Barker, you have 15 different reasons to counter that man. Because the government had just left out some 2-3 months ago. A demonstrator has been the champion of violators of that code of conduct. How well can that man come and sit in the studio now to criticize the Joe Barker administration for not honoring the code of conduct? So let the reasons in terms of building rules, right? Let the reasons if a citizen come and sit in the studio today and want to criticize Joseph Boakai government for not building rules, you have 10 different reasons to counter him on what is it that his government has just left by in less than 5 months failed to build rules. What more would that man have to sit in the studio now to counter while Joseph Boakai building roads. So at that level, you got to firstly identify what you want to propagate.
Okay, so now, Harris, my point here is that whether it is who that sent out the message, I'm not thinking about the messengers of the message. I'm thinking about the message that went out. This is the BBC.
That's what I'm saying.
This is the BBC. And this information is on the BBC. You know how many persons do read the BBC? The stories on the BBC. So now, if this message about the missing 16 billion was on the BBC page, you know what message is sent out to the international community? The message is sent out is that the government, the WIADE administration is using NGO money, is using taxpayer money, and monies are getting missing within the country. So now, that's the bad image is sent out there to the international community. And another the folks who in the BBC that just said they just start doing the story, they think happy, and the people started protesting. That's why the BBC told the story. So now, this was in just 8 months. It was just in 8 months. So when we saying that, oh, we should wait for 1 year, 7 months, we should wait for, no, we are not inciting the people against, but we are talking about the weakness of the CDC towards the Unity Party. We are talking about how prepared is the Unity Party to come to the CDC when it comes to propagating message or messages out there to the Liberian people. These are the things that we are looking at.
And I continue to say Boakai until the CDC identify what she wants to propagate. There will be no reason to propagate.
Okay. So there haven't been anything now.
I'm saying until the party. How can I say that CDC say you can go that president?
I'm asking you now. So you haven't seen anything that the Unity Party have done.
How we ask me such a question?
No, I'm asking because
I'm not saying the CDC is a political institution. Boakai, you know what it takes? For every time you come out to speak, there should be a reason to say something as an opposition. So at that level, you gotta be money. Most of money, guys say, okay, they want today, they want today. So what am I saying is this? The CDC has to identify what she wants to propagate. I'm not saying they're not missteps in this government, but maybe the CDC as a party is yet to identify those missteps. So that's why she needs a retreat. That's why she needs a retreat at this time. Then she'll be able to catalog all what she wants to propagate. It will be a disservice to seditions, those grassrooters, that if the party, for instance, want to come out in less than 3 months to criticize President Boakai for road development in this country, what kind of argument will they sell out to us? Have you asked yourself why is it that Alexander Cummings with tax suffering campaign failed? Protest failed? It was not necessary that the message was not right. The message was right. But if you had a Louis Brown at the time to stand before Liberians and say we will protest so that because we tired suffering, it was only on that basis that the CDC had a safe haven. And the CDC used that to say, but Liberians can agree. They accept the fact that we tired suffering. But is Louis Brown the person to come and tell us that we tired suffering? Listen. So this is where we are. And that's why the CDC is careful. How can how can the CDC as a party come before Liberians, Boakai, in the space of 3 months, tell that President Boakai say you're going to pay roads? Where are the roads? How well would that conversation sell out to Liberians? Even if you go take the picture of the more deplorable roads in this country and bring it, how well will Liberians buy into that? In the space of 3 months. The first thing they will be telling about, well, let's say you say you have bio medicine. You stay there for 6 years, you do it. The media, the president has to go in 3 months. How you expect the president to do it? That you have Liberians themselves supporting the president. So that's why I said until a space has been given, the CDC identify what she wants to propagate. Then we'll reach at that level. Then we'll start to cross our belief. That one, the CDC as a party will have enough of evidence. In 8 months' time, the report you just mentioned from the BBC was in September, around September to October.
Yeah,
that was around 8-9 months now on the George administration. So at that level, you understood that the conversation came out when legs of Aaron Costas and others brought out the conversation, right? When that information was being exposed, but again, it was never a United Party as a party that came out and said, "Oh, we identify 16 billion loss on the government." No, the United Party waited for that opportunity because there was
And they
the real-
capitalized
I'm
on
telling
it.
you, there was the real opposition party.
Mhm.
So while they were in a strategy room, I'm saying while they were in a room strategizing, they listened us, and what they heard was Liberians were flagging a particular issue on that X amount of dollar have been missing. That's how Emo was order when they joined the campaign. So even if you read that report, they said the former ruling unit party, I mean say or spokesperson or chairman or whatever, I mean say Amos were joined testers. So it is a definition that the United Party was sat watching and they waited for opportunity to join. So that's what the citizen needs to re-strategize. Until that has been done, the Poland get nothing to counter it. What a minute coming to
Okay, so the machines that are coming in, the bosses that are coming in, how are they coming?
Mm.
These are the questions that these are the questions
Mm.
that the folks within the
Mm.
opposition should be asking.
Mm.
How are the machines coming in? Who are those behind those machines?
Mm.
Is the government being gifted with it? Are we going to pay for it through tax dollars? Or is it a donation?
Mm.
How are the machines coming? The buses that they are passing around with today, they say that empty buses. How are they coming? These are the questions that the folks of the opposition should be asking now.
Mm.
They tell you if it was United Party in opposition,
Mm.
they will not be asking the hard questions.
Mm.
They will be. But the CDC is starting, they're sitting down. Hands for that.
How do you expect a party
Eh,
like the CDC broker
to ask question now.
in a space of
3 months,
in a
say
space
5
of
months
5 months?
to ask question.
They have lost most of their strong men.
Harris, man.
Most of their men that
Now you come to losing men now.
they are on the forefront. No, that's what I say. The retreat for the CDC as an opposition is very necessary, Buakai. That retreat is necessary.
Okay, so let's focus. Okay, we can transition now, or you want to?
That's that. I'm coming. Let me conclude this matter. So the CDC as a party, as an opposition, the retreat is necessary. Let's not sit here.
No.
Like I continue to mention, the retreat is necessary for the CDC to identify what she wants to propagate. Again, at the concluding stage of this conversation, I believe after the retreat, the CDC will come to the conclusion. The CDC will come to the conclusion now that we have all of what it takes as an opposition figure now to engage the government on what we want them to do for us. And at that level now, all of the hard questions will be raised. But as it stands, Buakai, the men don't know who will be talking on behalf of the party. There was a order when they brought one other man and said that party chairman, so all these things affecting the CDC. When we saw that they brought Jayako who just came from the accounting fee, had little, had limited knowledge now on the current dispensation of of what it takes to manage a political, environment as with the CDC since post-war Liberia. Last time I checked, Jayako when a student in law was somewhere before the Civil War. So we are transitioning to a new Liberia. Welcome over 2 different governments. How is it possible that such a man, since after the Civil War, has not been active into the revolutionary struggle, will be able to buy into the argument of the CDC so easily? It's not. So all of these things are necessary.
He been with the CDC for long.
Being with the CDC for long is one thing. I mean, and playing the R7 job is another thing.
No, but he should be able to serve in such position because he been nurtured by others.
Have you seen it from him?
I'm not yet.
Then it demonstrates how the party is struggling at the moment. Then it brings us back to the point that there is a need that they identify what they want to provide.
Everything now.
You cannot have a Janga call, for instance, to come and tell us the state of the economy. And only President Baraka is troubling. Then you ask and say, oh, when you were auditor, when you were chief accountant, right? I'm trying to get his position about then doing it. I'm at the Ministry of Finance. But you're asking that you play a very critical role on the Georgia government at the Ministry of Finance. What were your own plans and procedures that you put for the Ministry of Finance to the then Minister of Samuel to help improve the economy at the time? And he's struggling to answer you on that question. Then you say social minister can't in the space of 3 months can't send for Liberia to criticize the Joseph Boakai government. Boakai, I said no. So that's what I'm saying. The CDC have to identify what she wants to propagate. And at that level now, then we can entertain the conversation about criticism.
All right, so you want us to look at that Emma stuff or
Oh yeah, my God.
The president relieved Dr. Julius Nelson from his post as president, of the University of Liberia and appoints Ahassan Conte as acting president. On the watch of Mr. Nelson, there have been a lot of issues. There were a lot of issues, but that have been resolved. And the University of Liberia is one institution that every blessing day, moment, there's a problem. There's a problem with this. There's a problem with that. Every day you see student protesting. Today you're just home. Before you know, you think about going to classes. The next day, before you know, they say no classes tomorrow. The University of Liberia. So the president relieved the president of the university from his post, and an acting is now in charge of that university. So we thought about in flagging that. Harris, the Buakai's administration, the importation of buses. Yesterday we couldn't be here to talk about this. We saw 2 buses surfacing on the social media coming from Ghana. And they are saying they are coming to do a test drive on those buses. And if those buses are roadworthy, they will import 300 pieces. I stand to be corrected with the numbers though. I stand to be corrected. So I want to reach out to the guys there, the folks there at the National Transit Authority. Noah Zawo Gibson. Let me see. I don't know what he's teaching by this time. A bit in the news, Harris, and we saw 2 of the buses. 2 of the buses at the executive mansion on yesterday. And Mandela Kopo was talking about the buses according to them. Mr. Gibson, good morning.
Morning.
This is Boaka Kamara from Punch FM. I'm sorry about calling you this time without letting you know you are live on the radio. I just want to find out a few things about the buses that were brought in the country by the government. We saw at the executive mansion, we saw Mandela Kopo, and you being the director there at the Deputy Director, National Transit Authority. The importation of these buses. We want to get more information about these buses. Can you tell us a little bit about it? Because we have a few questions to ask you. Welcome.
Well, Boakai, I for the fact that you caught me unaware, I think I'm one of the officials of government that is media friendly. Prior to me becoming a government official, I definitely was a friend of the media. So I will never shy away to provide whatever information the media needs. So I'm honored to be on Punch FM this morning. First of all, the buses you are talking about, if you listen to our MD yesterday, the managing director on the state radio, I'm just going to reaffirm what he stated yesterday and further expand on what he stated. We did not bring these buses in the country for commercial purpose, as wrongly being insinuated. These buses are here for tests. As you may be aware, we are having negotiation, or we considering an option of negotiating with several companies. And Marco Polo from Brazil, that has their substation in Ghana and West Africa, is just one of those companies. It's just one of those several companies that we are having discussions with. So they have got interest in having a private-public partnership with the National Transit Authority. But we have not concluded as a government or as the entity of government that is responsible for such responsibility. They offer to us that as part of what we want to give to you for us to work together, we can bring sample of them for you to see them, to see how roadworthy they are. Once you are satisfied, then we can go into the deal and sign the deal and produce as many as your country will want. So this is what prompted the coming into the country of these two bosses that you saw us inspecting at the executive mansion ground yesterday. So it's not that we've gotten into final agreement or we've consummated a deal that we have brought buses in the country for public transport operation has been wrongly insinuated. They are here for tests. So this is where we are because and there are other options. They are not the only ones. There are other options. Probably if this doesn't materialize, we could go for another option as well.
This may appear strange to many Liberians, Zau, that during the administration of Madam Salif, I can recall it was the Turkish government that I provided or donated about 20 buses to the Liberian government free of charge. Under the then George Weah administration, it took the Indian government the courage as well to donate over 45 pieces of buses to the government of Liberia. How is it now that the Joseph Walker administration will want to enter into a private-public partnership instead of perhaps seeking support from different governments around the world to somehow donate the buses to the country?
Very good, very good. The first point of correction I'd like to make before I respond to that question, under the Madam Seri government, it was not just only the Turkish government that donated buses, even the Indian, the buses that President Weah received under his administration from the Indian government. They now start with his administration. The Indian government also provided buses here after the Turkish government. So we received consignment of buses from the Indian government, from the company called Tata, before President Weah administration proceeded with similar things. But directly as I respond to your question, let me say this. Harris, look, what you need to know is this, or what the Liberian people need to know is this. Currently, as it stands, no country right now is ready to give us grant. All of those buses we've been receiving in time past under both administrations, both President Salif and President Weah administration, were grant. As it stands, the Indian government that provided those buses are not in readiness to give us grant. And those consignment of buses that came from Turkey were not durable as compared to the Indian buses. They didn't even stay long, they broke down. So to enter into a private-public partnership is something that one must even commend this government for. Why must the government be commended? The government must be commended because the private partner partnership is something that the people bringing the buses, you run there and pay. And you pay and the buses become yours. That response, it's a level of great responsibility, showing some level of managerial skill instead of just getting it on a free basis. So I think the government must be commended for that. It should not be seen as the government being weak.
Mr. Gibson, how long will it take for the trial process of these buses? Because it would some may say it would take 4 or 5 days. Some may say it would take 1 month to try the 2 buses before concluding whether they are roadworthy or they can be imported. More can be imported to Liberia. How long will it take?
Well, let me make this clear. I will not be emphatic about stating the correct frame, maybe 1 month. But what I can say, it will not be 1 month. The trial can be 1 month. You can't waste 1 month just on trial. And I cannot tell you that it will be 2 days, 3 days, but it cannot be 1 month. That I can assure you. And something you need to get here. I don't want it to be. I don't want it to appear like we already have consummated the deal that immediately after the trial process coming. No, after the trial, if it doesn't prove roadworthy, and even if it proves to be roadworthy, we got to look at the pro and cons. We got to look at what benefits Liberia most, because we don't want to get into something that will entangle the country into another debt. This administration did not come to stay forever. Administration will come, administration will go. So why if we get into an agreement that could put the country into serious debt crisis, and when we shall have left, it becomes the burden of another administration that takes over. So we are looking, and we are not only concerned with the roadworthiness of those policies, we also concerned the offer. How are they going to offer them? I mean, how the package, what is in the package that will best suit Liberia is our concern. It's not only just the roadworthiness. Yes, the roadworthiness is the first issue, it's the first priority. The next priority is how are they offering the policies? We're looking at the economic, the cost, the prices as well. And we're looking at the total number of pieces of buses that we will intend to purchase, what it will amount to, and how long will it take government, what the government can afford paying for them in the time frame that they want to give them to us for. All of those things, we got to consider those things.
Zau, before we take leave of you, one last concern quickly. I was reading through a document, and I came across a point that the National Transit Authority, despite generating revenue, is not contributing to the national budget. I mean, this was strange to me, that an institution like the NTA, despite generating revenue, is not contributing to the national budget. I mean, with the coming in an event where we have all of those testing process being carried out, understanding the pros and cons, and the deal is being consummated, I mean, does it provide an unfavorable environment that the NTA now moving forward we have, we will contribute towards our national endeavor as a country?
Well, except trying to determine that we go back to revisit the act that created the National Transit Authority to charge them with such responsibility that you are asking for. Unless that is done, I will tell you no. And in the first place, let me make this clear to the public this morning, listening, let them understand this. The National Transit Authority was never created to contribute to the budget. The National Transit Authority is not even a government revenue generating entity. The National Transit Authority was created by law to help government stabilize transportation, to make citizens have access to affordable transportation. This is the reason why the National Transit Authority was created. For example, if Harrison or Buckeye we want to leave their resident this morning, instead of them paying $100 on a private bus, private commercial bus, the National Transit Authority will say, no, that $100 you should pay, we will reduce it to $50. You see?
Yeah, so, but no, the money you're making, where the money going on?
Oh, the money we're making, where the money is going? The money we are making is going towards the running of the entity. Mind you, we got salaries, we got people here that we taking care of, that we paying salaries, and also to ensure that buses are always on the street to serve our people. That's what we do. If only we supposed to be a revenue contributor, then it means that we will not give the kind of service that we are giving. It means that we will be charging equally as the private commercial buses are charging, and which is wrong, which will not be good for the Liberian people.
Yes, so
this place was enacted into law to provide stable transportation on the Liberian market for the Liberian people.
Yeah, finally, Noah, from my end, Buckeye's end. If what you are saying that the entity was created to run buses and make Liberians to commute from one place to another, and the funds generated should be replaced to get new buses, then I don't know the guys that left power at the entity, all the buses there had damaged. Were there no money left in a account of the NTA to enable the NTA get new buses up until you guys can get hold of the buses that are coming from Ghana?
First of all, absolutely, I would say a big capital no. Indeed, we didn't meet. In fact, in fact, what we met here in the first place was absolutely nothing that any administration will even inherit and start with. We met $41 in the account.
No. This $41 in the account of the NTA.
Yes, I come in. This is what I want to drill you through.
Okay.
Out of $200,000 that they inherited in 2018 from the UP government, and 15 million LD they inherited in 2018, with 27 IT buses running that they inherited in 2018, and with thousands of gallons of fuel they inherited in the fuel tank that they inherited in 2018. Unfortunately, when we got appointed on February 20 by His Excellency President Joseph Yuman Paka and started official responsibility on March 1st, we inherited $41 from the 200,000 they inherited, and 113,000 LD from the 15 million that they inherited.
Wow.
And the fuel tank was completely empty and destroyed from the thousands of gallons of fuel they inherited in it, and from the 27 buses they inherited from the UP government. 1 year later, they got 39, added on the 27 was 66. We inherited 5. In fact, what happened when they heard that 39 buses were already on the way coming, they started scrapping the one that they inherited already. So we inherited 5 partially active buses. We have to do a major repair on the 5 partially active buses to get them stable. And also, we were able to add additional 3 that we met of the over 30 that we met already broke down. We repaired 3 from there and added it on the 5 that we met to carry to 8 buses that we maintained for the past 3 months plus we've been here. And right now, as we speak, our vendor and our chief mechanics are already in India, in New Delhi, trying to bring spare parts that the government of Liberia made 300,000 appropriation for in the current budget. And they will be here in a couple of 10 days from now with those spare parts. This will enable us to repair 15 of the almost 30 buses that are down, to put them on the road, to add them on the current 8 that are running, which will get around 20 buses already on the road running.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Gibson. Anything we left out that you want to hit on before we take leave of you?
Yes, I just want to thank the press and to also thank you guys. Do not stop being critical. What is happening, you can discuss it both. Where you guys think that we're not proceeding right as public officials, you can hold us accountable. This will serve as deterrent. It will make us to know that we are not just in government, or we didn't just fight for this thing to come and do business as usual. The president said there must not be business as usual. So obviously, it can even be me, Noah Zau Gibson here, that you know as your good friend and brother. Do not hesitate to chastise me when you know that I'm going wrong. And I think it should not be where when you talk the good side, then you are a good media institution. But when you talk the bad side, then you're not correct. I think we should graduate from that. And sometimes I can monitor you guys when you are critical. I think it's something that we must welcome. And taking into consideration the president that your former CEO who just resigned, Mr. Patrick Horner, no one would have ever thought that a station that was owned by Mr. Horner, as former CEO, would be this critical on the government. And other radio stations around here who would not call him could have done it to their side. But also, as for the fact that you're doing it to your own, it shows that Punch FM is there for everybody. Once you do the right thing, they will talk it. You do the wrong thing, they will talk it. So I want you to keep on upvoting, and you are welcome to my office at any time to seek further clarity on what I do.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gibson.
Thank you so much.
That's the Deputy Director General for Operation at the National Transit Authority. You listen to him, Harris, lengthily.
I listen lengthily, and Zau has provided the pieces of information we need. We needed at the time, to satisfy this conversation. And part of the reasons why it was important that we bring Zau on, because we wanted Liberians to listen from the House itself as to what has been happening at the National Transit Authority. This institution in question, and I don't know as per the crafter of the act that established the National Transit Authority, again, they might be right in their thought that in order to lessen the burden of government, let's have this institution created separately generate our own revenue, cater to our needs, and be able to solve all of our problems.
Mm-hmm.
And as how the National Transit Authority, at first it was called the Monrovia Transport, I think Monrovia Transport Services or something. That was in 1977 when it was established. Until 2009, it was turned over to the National Transit Authority. So you may recall it was under the then administration of Madam Salif. And it was changed to the National Transit Authority with an understanding of providing, all of the basic services in terms of transportation needs to Liberians. Mind you, this is one problem we face in this country, commercial, transport services. So the Salif administration 2009, when they formed the National Transit Authority, gave it as sole responsibility. In 2015, I was reading through like the Turkish situation I mentioned. The Turkish government presented over 20 buses to the National Transit Authority. Yet I want to be very exact. Let me get the exact number of buses. Okay, in 2015, the Salif administration received 20 buses from the Turkish government. So when 2015, at the concluding stage of the Salif administration in 2017, and in 2018, when the then administration of George Weah took over, it is reported that the George Weah government inherited 15 of those buses. So it means that 5 of them got damaged or spoiled or perhaps couldn't be accounted for under the Salif administration. So George Weah government inherited 15 buses. Now, in 2019, 2020, in 2019, 2020, the NTA received additional 45
buses from the Indian government.
So you could say by 2019, the NTA had about 60 buses in total, 60 functional buses
in total.
But I am thinking, how is it that a country like Liberia, as small as having 60 buses on our roads, in the space of 4 months, we cannot account for them. There out of those 60 buses, only 5 that when the current administration of Joe Barker took over, only 5 of those buses were functioning.
100% functioning though.
Now 100% now. Even if we were to give it 100% functioning, but 5 buses were partially functioning. And 55 of the buses, some of them are damaged, some of them are beyond repaired, some of them cannot be used, some of them are being strapped off and everything. But it demonstrates how the guys mismanaged that institution. Because you know why? If you get an institution like the NTA that generates hundreds of thousands of dollars daily, and say your colleague money this way, and imagine how lucrative that place was at the time. So I mean, I was going through this thing, and I reached a point. I want to get it. It says the funds collected. I want to get the part where it says that the fund collected from the NTA, what is being used for. Oh my word. Okay.
But they meant to us that they meant say funds collected are there to pay their salaries and help refurbish some of the buses that have been damaged. And just to make sure that Liberians commute from one place to another. That's a sole responsibility. But I think this act should be relooked at because the NTA is generating a lot of funds. They should be able to.
So let me just hold you there. It says transportation fares collected by the NTA are primarily utilized for maintenance, tire and battery purchases, and employee and contractor payments.
That's all.
That's all the thing. So any money NTA get, what are that?
700 million. What kind of million?
We should be able to provide maintenance services for the buses. And be able to pay employees, and
they should just keep the buses functional.
That's one of the main responsibilities.
Any money they get.
Any money. So
imagine, and we're giving them money in the budget also.
Yeah,
they get money.
The portion is there for them. Yeah, maybe for operation.
They're getting the money.
So can imagine 60 buses are running daily. That was in 2019 when George Weah government took over. When my colleague was given, because by then in 2015 it was Tanu Ja. I think one Tanu was the director general of the National Transit Authority at the time when the 20 buses were given over. At the conclusion of the Sedi administration, 15 buses were functioning. I mean, fully functioning. So that's how they came into being. And back an interesting thing about it is that I was reading through this thing. Also, do you know that the University of Liberia entered an agreement with the National Transit Authority that every month they were providing $18,000. The buses used to see on UI campus, that NTA buses that used to be all UI campus taking students to and forth. It was a formal contract that was entered with the University of Liberia. That contract said that the NTA, the National Transit Authority, will receive $18,000 from the University of Liberia to ensure transportation services for students. Wow. You know what happened when time came? That contract was
every year.
Every year. That's not every year. It says the solution so that the contract between the two entities that earned the NTA US $18,000 per month was terminated.
Okay, so, Mr. Gibson calling again.
So
I think he needs to make some
So 18,000 per month a year was given, and it was that contract was terminated and turned over to Sir Joseph. Sir Joseph was given that contract. It was NTA given to Sir Joseph.
I'd like to correct something quickly.
Okay, Mr. Gibson.
For which I call back to correct something quickly. The WIA government inherited 15 buses. They inherited 27. 27 IT buses. The records are here on my desk.
Okay.
That's what I met here as the Deputy Director for Operations.
27
records here. 27 IT buses.
So 27 plus the 45.
But what happened? What happened when they heard that new buses were already in the port? After they used those 27 buses for 1 year because they took over 2018, they ran those buses for 1 year. 2019, when those new buses were already in the port, they started scrapping the 27 buses that were already in good condition. They started getting rid of them. Nothing happened to them. So the 45, 6 were distributed to other government institutions, and then got 39 that came to NTA. So had they kept the 27 that they did not, that they scrapped, if they were going to receive 66 in totality. And something that you key on. Now, let me tell you why the NTA will not contribute to the national budget. The reason, until that act is revisited, the reason is there are a lot of things, a lot of power that were given to the NTA in that act. If NTA is given the chance to implement, NTA is supposed to be the one that's supposed to repair all government vehicles in this country. Not TSA.
Wow.
According to the Act. NTA is supposed to take the responsibility to transport every government workers and ministries and agency in this country, and they pay NTA monthly. NTA is supposed to do that. The UL you're talking about, that contract was taken from NTA during the WIA administration and given to Sir Joseph. The NTA was rubber contract. And some of those buses here were also temporary because of Sir Joseph. Sir Joseph took NTA out of business totally during the WIA administration. And even as we speak, when we took over, all of those buses, some were abandoned in the field. They were spoiled. Past administration couldn't take them from on the field. They were scrapping them. We recorded all of them. The ones that were in Banga, I mean in Kakata, not Kakata, but Ganta. We brought it from Ganta. The one that was SKT in Ponkante, we brought it from there. We got 2 right now that are packed to the DEA headquarters in Maryland County. They were running there for 4 years. The money was not going in NTA account. It was just going in the pocket of somebody. That person is already on ongoing investigation. TSC is on our audit. And the parts that are coming from India, we will also wake up those bosses that are already in Maryland. So again, make the people see NTA buses from Plibo to Harper because that's where it was running. And besides that, the guy that Macaulay inherited or succeeded, the guy that Macaulay succeeded was Tanu Cheke. Tanu Cheke did very well here between you and me. You took over from a predecessor that you to inherit 15 million LD in your account and 200,000 US in your account, with thousands of gallons of fuel being left in the tank for the buses and 27 active buses. So wasn't it a good foundation for you to have started on?
Zau was the 18,000 USD contract between UL and that of the NTA? Was it a Monday basis or a yearly contract that was taken away from the NTA and given to Sir Joseph?
It was on the basis of a semester.
Okay, per semester.
It was on a semester basis. Yes.
Wow.
So what we can say to the LaBrem people, if you look at what we've done in a short period of time with just 8 buses, you will know that we are here as a serious thing. We met a lot of liabilities here. There were 21 contractors that NTA was owing. We raised a little over 3 million LaBrem out of the settle. All of them, we cleared them 100%. Some of them took 150,000, some of them took 100,000 based on the number of months you were being owed. We cleared them up. And out of the same 8 buses, we were to procure a new generator to restore electricity here. We've been able to purchase safety gear, uniform for our mechanics and make them well attired and be protected on the job. And we met a lady here who was an accident victim because, interestingly, none of those buses were insured. All those buses for the 6 years, none were insured. So we met a lady who was an accident victim. She was abandoned. We were able to give us almost $60,000 to settle part of our medication as new management. And right now, we just insure all the 8 buses. We just insure them.
Okay.
And the ones that we're coming to put on the road, we're working around the scene to also insure all of them. And if I were to tell you what we've done in a short period of time,
we hope some things will come back and tell us.
Thank you.
Hope to invite you here very soon, Mr. Gibson.
Thank you. I will be at your service when the time comes.
All right, thanks so much. That's the voice of Mr. Noah Zhao Gibson.
So, Baka, you see, I mean, when I came across this development, I was a bit troubled that we will take a contract from a government entity, as with the NTA, and hand it over to a politician to manage. As with the case of Sir Joseph. Then it was being interpreted that Sir Joseph brought buses for the US student free of charge. And there was a conversation that Sir Joseph brought buses for US students. And that's how it's over the years. That contract every semester, $18,000 will go into the NTA. That money will have helped the institution in terms of maintenance services, like you mentioned, in terms of shouldering the responsibility of contractors paying them, and a whole lot. And that fund, that contract was stripped off the NTA and gave to Sir Joseph because Sir Joseph was an affiliate of the government. Well, was not an affiliate, but part of the government, part of the CDC as well. And because we were drawing close to elections, it needed understanding that 70% of the students that attend UL are ones that have voting rights in Montserrat County. So like that, if the students are listening to the conversation that Sir Joseph, provided buses for us, if Sir Joseph buses are taking on the school tour and forth, it presents an additional advantage for him. Why is it that the actual conversation is he's being paid for those services?
Yeah, so we have to go to the phone lines now. So, folks, you listened to the conversation this morning on the PBS. That's the Punch Breakfast Show. Harris Biddy and Buaka Amara Kamara. It's not time for you to form part of the discussion. Call us on 0778 665 699. Once again, 0778 665 699 or 0880 561 644 0880 561 644. Placing your calls this morning, you will be live with us. We can take calls from now up until 9 o'clock. You said 9 o'clock. We having the folks from the Money Exchange. Okay, so once again, the phone lines are open 0778 665 699. Let's go to the phone line and take our first caller here this morning. Good morning, welcome.
Yeah, good morning. I'm Richie Torre. I join you from my resident in Mount Basme community.
Welcome, Richie.
Yeah, these people there, everything in the country, they were politics starting. Your NTA bosses, how can a man bring bosses in the country? Everything that generate foreign in the country, so are taking over everything. Because you're part of agriculture, you're part of transporting gas and other things, you're part of the buses and transportation. If you bring buses, you're taking people carrying people free from place to place. How are you expecting NTA buses to generate funds to maintain themselves? No way, you get buses all over. So the government has to gain the political popularity. Those are some of the means that the past government used. Yeah.
Okay.
We step on the other company, the other NTA bosses will pack everything. So Sir Joseph, yeah. So everybody was healing Sir Joseph. Oh, Sir Joseph doing this, Sir Joseph doing that. Sir Joseph good. Every praises were going to him just because they wanted to maintain that position. But imagine after he lost the election, he said he how to change the bosses on the street and see if Liberia was still going to move. But definitely, they were working. And he said, go out when the boss back.
All right, thanks so much. Let's go back to the phone line. Take some more calls. 0778-665-699. 0778-665-699. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Baka. Good morning.
I'm doing pretty well. Your name, where you joining us from?
This is Abba Kemuga. I'm in Caldwell.
Welcome, Mr. Kemukai.
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, I've got that issue of the NPA. I think my friend and brother expanded well on it. I don't have, but I want to visit your first topic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to agree with the brother in there that says CDC don't have a specific point to push in any argument. Even when they were in power, just imagine, you know, President, we have benefited from a lot of things that he became president. So that's what Joseph Boakai did. Do you know the day when President Weah was contesting, people said he was not educated? The Liberian people never bought that idea. But then, when President Weah took over, most of the people now, the issue was Joseph Boakai is a big man. The fact that people even went as far as throwing caskets and saying that the man will not end the campaign. So, that will make the Liberian people so bad because show something against this man that they may have done that will convince the Liberian people, but not to discuss the man help. That means elect, the Liberian people already have the belief now, elect, you don't have anything against the man. You wouldn't want to attack the man personally. And Liberian, and human being, once you are human being, impossible you can get sick. So they say all of the, even the man won the election, they say to the man, so CDC don't have anything to point out in argument. They just cause noise, and at the end of the day, nothing they can do.
All right, thanks so much. 0778 665 699. 0778 665 699. Let's take this other person. Good morning, welcome. Your name is joining us from. Good morning. Yes, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Patrick James Stephen Pierwood, and I do from Party District number 12.
Welcome, Mr. Activist.
Yeah, thank you for this fascinating topic. You know, I listened to Deputy Director for Operations for the National Transit Authority in presence of Noah Zhao Gibson expanding on their deliverables since they took over the Labrador National Transit Authority.
Mm.
You see, yeah, you see, my brother, just put aside the issue of politics. I believe that entity was established to alleviate high suffering when it comes to the issue of transportation on our Liberian people. So to see the way in which that entity has been treated over the period of time with the number of buses that was brought into this country to ease the transportation burden of our Liberian people, I think we should put aside politics and speak the truth. I think it is bad. I think the past leadership have not treated the Liberian people fairly. I think the past government mismanaged those buses. I think this current leadership needed to have allow those past leadership to account of those and one of you. So let me applaud the current leadership, most especially the Deputy Operation, that many people criticize his appointment because of his impairment. Many people said he was not going to do what he's doing today. And let me applaud his excellently. He's setting the example and government will look at and appoint more disabled persons.
All right. Thanks so much. Let's take a few more calls on 0778 665 699, 0778 665 699, or 08005616444. Let's take this person. Good morning.
Good morning, Baka, and good morning to the studio guest, veteran Noah Zhao Gibson. My name is Amar Mohammed Kamara.
Mr. Kamara, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I joined this morning from the 72nd.
Okay.
Actually, I don't want to be much political because, you know, in our thriving force to national transformation nowadays in Africa and in Liberia, there's always be a political sentiment. So I don't want to be politically built in anything that has to do with sentiment. But to the issues, actually, I would applaud the government if what we are hearing is true. I will applaud the government. But here are a few recommendations. Number one, we saw this with the past regime. And I think Comrade Noah Gibson is a living witness of that. And with advocates against the Wheeler administration then. And we will also say this today, because what is wrong yesterday can never be correct today. Number one, what are they doing in order to mitigate some of the challenges with respect to the transportation cost, and with also respect to the, because mind you, Buckeye, there's nothing, even your own house, the way you will maintain it, it will determine how long that house will be. And the way you will build the foundation of that house will also determine, because all that part of the building process of the maintenance. So I think the issues about having all the buses, we are seeing buses when we came to power, in the first 6 months, we saw buses coming into the country. But it was due to poor maintenance. At the end of the day, we cannot give account, or the government were not able to give an account as to how the buses will be used. Now, at the end of the day, we also see the likes of Joseph then coming into the process, bringing in the private buses then, and it makes the government to go low in terms of revenue generation. So I think it's important the government should give out of the channel, the procedure. This is a government that is open, because that's what they promised the Liberian people, that this will be a government of accountability, transparency, and the rule of law. So if anything that is happening, it should be an open transparency, it should be an open accountability.
Okay.
So let us know how are they going to maintain this process in making sure that the issues about the IRS agenda is on fire.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Amara, for calling in. We'll take some more calls. 0778 665 699 0778 665 699 or 080561 644 080561 644 are the lines that you can call this morning, and you will be live with us on the Punch Breakfast Show with Vin Boakai, Amara Kamara, alongside Harris Bailey. We are pretty seated here for you, taking your calls on the both topic. We talk about the CDC, the Union Party, propaganda arm, and the issue about political readiness in the country. And then we look at the National Transit Authority, 2 buses.
A few days ago. So what will he take me to do that you did not do, or that you did the best? So until CC can have a point of discourse, let them keep silent. Because Mario, if they say anything that we know that they were involved into it 2 days ago, they will go against them. That's the reason why in politics, it is not too good to discuss your opponents. Yes, that one there. And to the boss issue, I'm grateful to God for the way our brothers explained to us this morning the issue of the bosses. Because We are moving here and they were giving all kind of things about the bosses. Oh, the Ghanaians say they want a boss back, and the Ghanaian boss, the bro, yesterday when we say potential women like that, you're gonna go be the Ghana boss, they want a boss man, and the Ghana boss was there. I never did that this particular entity that they dealing with the French in Ghana. So our concern, how will Liberian government go and take and still boss on Ghana and bring it here?
They will still boss it.
Man, because they tell all the boss of the bro, they have Ghanaian place on it. That been an issue. But now we understand that the bosses are there for testing. And he made it clear. If the testing is done, and we're not that far with the negotiation, we're not going into it.
Okay.
So few days from now, if the testing is done, if people don't see the bosses on the street, people should say the government feel. It means that the negotiation was not rough for Liberian people.
All right. Thanks so much, my brother. Let's take another person here quickly. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Welcome. Your name, where joining us from?
This is Erogbo. I call from Pinsfield.
Erogbo, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'd like to speak on the CDC. CDC that this country was a private fund, and so they ran it anyhow. They took everything that belonged to the Liberian people for themselves. And this is wrong. Look at Ominga. This Ominga, I heard that the vast majority, the best area, President we have took it all and he building department stores. Take things that belong to the Liberian and take it for yours, like what we're talking in the case of Sir Joseph. Why will you, take away bosses, public bosses that bring in money and paying employees from the role, and then you bring in your own bosses? And these things were wrong. That's why people saw and they were able to dethrone CDC, so that at least we can have some free air to breathe. Because look, we were under serious captivity in this country from the hands of those people. And so I thank God so much that they were able to be trusted out. And today they are mad, they don't know what to say, they are frustrated, and everything they say is just it. So I thank God so much. And I thank God for Noah's allegation.
Okay.
Noah, at least he has shown, the level of person he is, despite, his incapability, incapacity to a certain extent. Noah has proven to be a material and an asset to this country. And I want to thank God that the president was able to bring him on board so that he will be able to perform his duty. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, my brother, for calling. Let's take another caller here. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning. How are you, brother?
I'm doing pretty well. Your name, where joining us from?
Okay. This is Bafi Sonia. I call for ERDA Junction.
Welcome, sir.
All right. We've been hearing, let retrospect when it comes to the importation of bosses in this country. We've been inputting bosses in this country for record ages. Well, Hamia, has it you the result that we already named? No, because the thing is that the maintenance of the bosses are the problem in this country. All right? You will see me just of recent Ellen Johnson regime. India donated more than 50 bosses to Liberia. Okay. Yeah, okay, 45. And they only lasted for a few months, and they were back. Okay, so the issue is somebody can say this to you that the bosses coming and what have you, and then you're looking at it to be. But we are looking at the maintenance of the bosses. Any bosses will be maintained, and for the next 7, 8 years, then I will. My brother, I can show you. No bosses will come. No mechanic at that place. They will make sure intentionally they destroy bosses so they can be going to get spare parts, and as a result, they get money from buying spare parts. Those are the things that be happening in this country. So I'm not happy until I see no bosses come and they can last for the next just 2 years. Then at least I will be happy. But for now, it's just a charade.
All right. Thanks so much. Let's take another person here quickly. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning to my friend, brother. This is the voice of Daddy D. And I joined you from District 10 this morning.
Welcome, Tali.
you know, let me just go to the first topic you were talking about the CDC.
Mm.
The CDC does not have the moral to even criticize President Bouakai because we were here in 6 months. We are eating condominium.
Mm.
We were here in 6 months. Man gave for 250,000 horse. We were here in 6 months. Jefferson Coach, we were lazy to 50,000 horse.
Mm.
When you talking, they used to say generational envy. Generational envy.
Mm.
So people like Janga Kone being secretary, chairman of the CDC when he was controller general, 25 million when busy, 16 billion lost, 25 million no here. How will he get the moral to can't talk about the economy? Because he was there controller general when he did to improve the economy. They did nothing. This guy, they are shameless, they are spineless, they got nothing to say about this government.
Okay.
That go to MTA, LTA, right?
NTA, that's the National Trust Authority. NTA.
You know, when the president appointed people like North August, Comrade Mervyn Seaforth, I knew that yes, the president ready for business because these people they are serious money people.
So the other people out there are not ready. The other people out there are not ready for business.
Hey, man, you saw what they got there, man.
I ask this simple question. The other people are not ready. The other people, their government entrusted them. That's what they put them there for.
Hey, comrade, you know what they got there? Money when they got it the money. What they did, they say the era point the money was in the other point. But these people still come at that. 900,000, you see, it was just somewhere a point. And the job we had did now, the job we had let it go, they were there for 6 years. Look, let me leave my door and just close on this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sir Joseph, some of us knew very well as I would oppose Sir Joseph to be re-elected in this country because we knew Sir Joseph Sir Joseph used the people of Montserrat to get money. Sir Joseph brought it. Today we can see the bosses of Sir Joseph and then more on the traffic when walking like the other day on the university campus as I said, boss, I just bossy. So my friend who supported the CDC, they say, but the man and the government are party. So the men are senators, so the man who so you're validating the argument that forces were given to Sir James the opponent.
Okay.
Because
All right.
if you say
conclude. We have to.
If you say the government is not in power against us, Sir Joseph will not bring positive. Then mean that George, we are a group and SAS this country to the higher level. So that's why we're calling the government to hold them accountable. They shouldn't go with impunity.
Okay, thank you so much. Noah is back on the line. Noah, sorry for keeping you so long.
No problem. Now something brought me back on the line, and somebody ignorantly said something about our mechanics, that it is because the mechanics have not been working or the mechanics were.
My man, I think you need to pay for the PR service to do it for you the money. So I'm not.
Sorry. Let me say this. NTA has one of the best group of mechanics in Liberia. And I will tell you, the bosses, maintenance has not been an issue. The issue has been the rightful people have not been put in charge. Let me tell you what broke the bosses down that are parking right here now that we try to put back on the road. The advice of the mechanics were not being followed. For example, if you put one of the buses on the road from here to Kanta, you bring in 40 gallons of fuel to go and come. They will go and tell the mechanic, they will go and tell them about put 15 gallons there. When the mechanic tell them it's not advisable for the pump, it was for the pump, they will tell them you won't do it, I will sack you. They will put the 15 gallons there. By the time the bus reach somewhere around Kata or somewhere around Totota, the 15 gallons finish. Then it start to take
Noah, we wish to have you on tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock because I'm saying this because we have wide range of issues to look at.
Conclude in 10 seconds on this.
Yeah.
So the issue here is it has not been about maintenance. If the people were not maintaining the process, how did we have government met 27 process here functional? Do you know how long it took before the way government came for the met 27 active process here? So it means the regime that were here, Tanu Checker, or Ucho said, the rest of other, they were maintaining process here. The issue here has not been the maintenance. It's about having the right people in place to listen to the mechanic when they advise them.
Okay.
That's been an issue. So learn that. Thank you.
Noah, it's an open invitation tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock because a lot of librarians want to listen to.
A lot of things.
Yeah,
A lot of things. At that NTA, Buckeye. Like I said, I was reading through. I came across a lot of things. I was shocked to understand that the NTA, all of what she generates will go toward maintenance,
yeah,
and and keeping our institution up to date. That you have over 60 buses when the George Weah government took over up to 2019. At the end of 2019, we had 60 functional buses in this country. That was under the supervision of the NTA. That today we cannot account for 10 of them, and the worst of all, we still have to run to government and give her 200,000 to go and service those buses. It proves beyond a reasonable doubt that plane was like, a fallback position for the government. For the government.
John Weah just used to take from a call and say, "Oh, I want money."
It was a fallback position. Like, you know why? Let's raise. Let me say all of the revenue collected from this place. And the worst of all, you had even contractors you were owing as well.
60 buses.
60 buses.
Running,
and all of what the buses generate. Buckeye, it goes towards under the NTA operations.
Wow. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, my brother.
Yes, sir. Your name is joining us from?
My name is Joseph the Police. Lawyer for Patient Share.
Welcome, sir.
My brother, administration, everybody independent in this country. That's something strange to you and myself. That's you yourself are sitting there behind that microphone. You know very well that this guy then is to do this country. But Liberian is good that they get spent. This guy then, yes, sorry for the internet on the now. You're not coming back. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
So that is the sub headquarters of the NTA in Buchanan. There was, that photo you see was April 2020. I think somewhere around April, right? That picture was taken. Was the headquarters. The substation had in Buchanan. See how deplorable.
When you go there, the thing is far off.
You see the road. You see how deplorable this place is. It tells you no one cares. Everyone, that place was lucrative. When I was sitting, I started to calculate 60 buses. Let's assume that every day that buses, each of them will generate at least $30,000. At least $30,000.
LD.
Now, I'm just saying as a fixed value, regardless of the distance now, because maybe someone will go longer than someone shorter distance, will combine everything. Because you have some of them are moving from here to $7 or $20. So imagine maybe one trip on the road. You have over 50, 60 persons in that bus. Just imagine $20, bro. Just on the road, 70. You have about 200 buses on the road moving from 70. You have some of them from here.
Okay, let's just say, okay. Each of the buses every day, you tell them say bring 10,000 LD.
10,000 every day.
You know how many getting every day?
Every day is about
600,000.
600,000 like bring that
every day. When you tell them say bring 10,000 LDO,
which of course it can't even be, but 10,000 every day times the system. The system
600,000 every day.
Per week.
Per week.
6 times 7.
Let's take this caller here. Good morning, welcome.
Hello, I'm Zakaria.
Welcome.
Yeah.
And some as well. I think.
Yeah. You know, my brother, that I'll tell you that day in our country here is not correct. One American, he came to the country, he saw clothes on the street, 2012. The man said, "Oh, why the person? What is here?" They say, "We don't go car." The man went to America. He brought 60 bucks. You have to call it laser ball. You have to shoot laser on it. You have to be laser. They say laser balls. That boy, the man was here doing maintenance on it. After the man went 30 ball to one man, they say he should be passer. You have to be free for earning. So they 30 ball to that man. They say, "Okay, take care of the boss." You know what the man did? He brought his wife. He brought all his family. They were collecting the money and they resort that for breakdown. When they go to Kennedy, they saw parking there. They called the American message to agree the boss. So I don't got nothing to do with that boss. That NTA boss there. Government need to give to private people to do method to be taken care of. Then you're going to try to run.
Okay.
So that when you come in here, that was nothing. You pay for the deposit, you pay for the deposit, that was nothing.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I think that's the same thing was we spoke of public-private partnership. The NTO will enter in where when the buses come, it's not government, but we turn over to a private frame to manage them. I think it's a very good one.
Okay, until we can get our guests, we'll still take some calls. Yes. Good morning, welcome.
Yeah, good morning, sir. How you doing?
We're doing pretty well. Your name, where you joining us from?
My name is Aaron S. Jackie calling from Rehab.
Aaron.
Yes, I want to say this to our people. For me, I live in Rehab. I like dressing in Georgia here and there. I live in Rehab for 20 years now. I see friends jumping all around here and there. Let me tell you, when you got people who think like a child, they will be beyond the child all around the place. You see, the friends of that person, what would be like? Their mentality is very small. You see, there's money that belongs to us in this country. Like the citizens were collecting. They were collecting it for themselves. At the end, they will take some more and share on our brother and sister all around. They jumping all around from place to place, getting in car, some of them have accident from place to place. And nothing about Georgia is documented for the day you got in power. Nothing is documented. You were just running the country on your own. You eat your own, I eat my own. And because of that, you have no voice to anybody. You have nothing to say to anybody, no advice to advise anybody. You do it own, you own the disciple, then everybody doing their own. So who advise anybody in 18 years? So but we keep God, thank you for the papi.
Okay.
You see, they always say that when you are in the home, when you are in your home, woman, when you are in your home, you see the man taking care of you well. The man is taking care of you well. Then you see a man outside there who only able to get you just $5 for yourself, just $5, but the man is getting you more than $10,000. The man can get you $5. I only the $5 they will want it. The people only want the $5 beyond Georgia, and nothing to get to offer in the country yet. Now, so that he was running business on your own before you can put in power. Or our ministry of transport in the country. You are running business for it.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much. All right. Thank you. Let me take Max Mixer from the United Kingdom. He's here with us this morning. Good morning, Max. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Boko. Good morning, Harris, and good morning to Liberia. Thank you again. For the show. This morning, actually, with the regulations coming from the National Transit Authority, especially from the Houses of Marv, represented by Noah Gibson, DMDO. I am so much heartbroken this morning to hear these regulations. And all I can say, look, President, the past government will be audited. There's a need for this audit to pick up now. Baka and Harris, these revelations are so shameful to this whole country. I mean, these are sons and daughters who said that they were patriotic to this country, and they came to rescue, to transform this nation, have plunged this nation into a serious challenging, situation. And I think none of them should get away with it. Yeah, those who will go through the process of whether it be through the court proceedings or whatsoever. If you are free and you are free of everything, you can go. But those who think we can get some of our money, our resources back from them, we have to do it. This government must audit the past government. And I want to agree with both of you for the call. I think there's a need to revisit the acts that created the National Transit Authority. What I heard this morning is surprising, that even it is not Mr. Gibson didn't even say autonomous agency also, but completely rule it out, far distant from government and autonomous agency.
Not contributing to government entity, revenue rather.
No, they are somehow contributing, because at the end of the day, they have to pay their taxes to the LLRA. So that one part, I mean, you can read that out. They're paying their taxes, but what is of concern and surprising is that it is not. It can't even drop from the pricing. But then why should the government, in fact, put them in national budget? Why should we give them money to go and buy spare parts? Why should our taxes go towards buying spare parts for them? I think there's a need. I agree with you guys. There's a need. Our legislatures, if some of them are listening now, there's a need to revisit the act that created the National Transit Authority. Thank you so much for the show this morning.
Thanks so much, Max Mixer, for joining us from the United Kingdom this morning. Thanks to, we still taking your calls, 0778-665-699, 0778-665-699. Let's take this person here. Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, brother.
Yeah, good morning. Your name is joining us from?
Thank you, brother. Let me say good morning to your colleagues and everyone. My name is Kwe Woodham Covey, and I joined this from this today.
Welcome, Kwe.
Thank you so much, brother. And for the program, let me appreciate the leader, the mentor, and the revolutionary forward of the United Party, in presence of Noel Gibson, the deputy managing director for operation National Transit Authority, for the clarity that he made about the process, right? You know, these are myths and lies that are passing around. And thank God that the deputy managing director this morning clarified people that these two buses were brought into the country for testing. And you know, this is why they are not even getting the issues, right? They are saying that the buses are from Ghana and the buses are being used in Ghana. But you see, thank God, these people who are going into the agreement, no one make it clear that this company is in Brazil, but then have a sub office in Ghana, right? So, in order to go into the arrangement or the agreement for testing, you can take the buses from Brazil to bring it to that road for testing. So, since they have a sub office in Ghana, and that's how the Liberian government and the company, that's a public or private partnership that the Liberian government through the NT is going to that agreement with. That they took the two buses from Ghana to bring it here for testing. And yesterday we saw those two buses at the executive mansion. We saw Noah Zaugating, the youth chairman program, Melvin Sivos, and Edmond for the transformation they brought to NTA. Because mind you, the NTA was a parking lot one of the past 6 years, and it was a garage for Sir Joseph.
Okay.
We all knew, right? We all know that everybody who live around the NTA area, that's where they were keeping their vehicle. That was the total parking lot in the garage for Sir.
Okay, thanks.
But now the entity have been transformed to benefit the Liberian people. I think it is good and laudable for all Liberians to heal the team at the NTA. Thank you so much, Noah. We follow you. Thank you.
Thanks so much. We can take like 3 more calls on 0778-665-699. Yeah, 3 more calls. Then we will transition. Let's take this person here quickly. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning, brother.
Welcome. Your name, where joining us from?
I'm calling you from Pennsylvania.
Yeah, your name.
Yeah, I'm Eric Youth. I'm calling from the Pennsylvania.
Okay, Eric, welcome.
Yeah, first me applaud Mount Goodman in steel. Yeah, but we that food that they government. The possibility near the food are more feed them because anywhere we go, they see that old boys will bring it.
Now you get a real information, right?
Yeah, now you have information. Now you
can stay anywhere and defend.
Yeah, because we food that the government anywhere we go, they see that old boys will bring. In fact, actually, I need transport union to the board. So I think, when I used to do that, I shall pussy.
But if you get the all information, you can go and counter them early morning. You go down back today, you are loaded.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Take care. Yeah. Let's see if we can take some more calls on 0778. The country is where it's so interesting. Let's take this person here quickly. Good morning, welcome.
Yeah, good morning, brother. Good morning to the listener.
Yeah, your name is joining us from?
Yeah, my name is Mohammed Sisse, and I join you from Mankaji community.
Welcome, Mr. Sisse.
Yeah, but we all know that we all are in Liberia. We witness what happened to NTA. NTA. Recently, I visited NTA. NTA just looking at a ghost camp. Now, my colleague, our heading NTA doing Joria region. That man really damaged that area. That place was like a garage. Yeah, was like a garage. And then I visited that place, the contact. I said, bah, you are the head of entity. The entity runs down, you eat all the money, you embezzle the money, and then you put fire on the building. You said no evidence, And George Manneh Weah, President George Manneh Weah, they don't take no action against that man and let the man walk free. So the people were saying that any money they collect, and then they can get George and go for him. So we believe it.
So you believe that one there?
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it, brother. I believe it. Because George cannot make one comment on that issue. Then I mean, it's getting a part or not. Thank you for this morning.
Thanks so much. We take somebody else from this other. Let's take somebody from this line here. That's let's take Pangomo Kamara. Pangomo, good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning. How are you, Pastor? Good morning to Liberia people. Good morning. Then my man, you know we are revolutionary. No one that will get you say, oh, you know, the one thing in Liberia, citizens have government kingdom rob Liberia. I keep talking. The time the thing happened, the person that were MTA, they were flowing Danta, Basso, Maryland, the chatter off where the money go. They rob it out, they finish with it, then Macaulay say fire burn the play. And they better give me what to play. They 25 million they better give me what to play. All the money. The yellow machine, they know what they're talking about. We will bring it. We don't want to walk there. We don't go to 4 o'clock. We abandon the river for 4 months without bringing nothing.
Now who abandoned like brother for 4 months?
Yeah, we are.
No, man. No. I joke up abandoned like brother for 4 months. Like bro,
I went for 30 days.
For 30 days, Pangomo, not 4 months.
1 month.
No,